gonna be like this. God damn, that's the best track I've ever ate in my life.
And then every once in a while, something terrible happens. Bah! And I'm like, oh no! Puffy got hit!
Comedy is a strange thing. It's been around since the dawn of civilization. From jester in king's courts, to clowns at festivals, to now global superstars that command attention. It's the reflection of us as a society, and it takes a real special person to relay and articulate that to the masses for us to deem as funny. It's subjective, unpredictable, and constantly evolving. What one person laughs at, another might call crude or not funny at all. And in today's world, comedy feels like a dying art that's being reshaped every day by social media. Now, humor shows up in the characters we meet in real life, in the wild situations we see online, and in the way creators flip everyday moments into something hilarious. We've got people like Drewski, who exaggerates the absurd parts of reality and holds up a mirror to the culture. We've got Desi Banks, who dives deep into the dynamics of our communities and turns them into sketches we all recognize. And we've got Kev on Stage and Tony Baker, all comedians with a classic stand-up spirit who have used the digital world to build a platform of his own. Comedy has always been a stage, one where voices rise, perspectives clash, and the culture gets reflected right back at us. And even though the art form is changing, it still deserves to be studied, celebrated, and enjoyed. So here at Cultural Chronicles, we're breaking down our top 5 black comedians of the 21st century. Not the hometown legends, not the underground favorites. We're talking about the mainstream names who broke into pop culture, shaped the way we laugh, and continue to influence comedy year after year. 5. Richard Pryor.
I like some spare ribs, french fries, and a big old juicy cheeseburger on the side with a chocolate malt. Thanks.
Richard Pryor is the foundation, the place where modern stand-up begins. His ability to take raw truth, painful experiences, and uncomfortable realities and turn them into sharp, unforgettable jokes changed comedy forever. Pryor wasn't just funny, he was fearless. He influenced generations with his honesty, his timing, and his willingness to expose his own flaws on stage. His classic specials like Live on the Sunset Strip and Bicentennial Nickel reshaped stand-up into something personal and revolutionary. From films like Silver Streak and Stir Crazy to being the first black comedian to fill arenas, Pryor created the blueprint that almost every comedian after him followed. 4. Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac brought the energy of the Chicago South Side to the world. Loud, proud, honest, and absolutely hysterical. His stage presence was unmatched, making him one of the most naturally funny humans to ever grab a mic. Bernie Mac embodied the hilarious, larger-than-life personality that felt like the funniest uncle at the family cookout. His delivery was bold, unapologetic, and always commanding, turning everyday life into unforgettable moments. He became a breakout star of the original Kings of Comedy, which became the highest-grossing comedy tour of its time, and his iconic I Ain't Scared of You routine remains one of the most memorable stand-up moments ever performed. Bernie's charisma translated seamlessly to television and film, where The Bernie Mac Show earned a Peabody Award and multiple Emmy nominations for its innovative portrayal of black family life. In movies like Ocean's 11, Bad Santa, Life, and Guess Who, Bernie stole every scene with effortless charm. Bernie Mac didn't just tell jokes. He lit up every room he walked into, cementing himself as a true king of comedy. 3. Kevin Hart.
I don't like it when people eat and sweat at the same time. I don't fucking like it. I don't fucking like it. Like if somebody's eating, while they eat, they're like, whoo! Oh.
Kevin Hart is comedy's first true multimedia mogul, an entertainer who turned himself into a global empire through hustle, authenticity, and relentless work. His comedic style, built on high energy, vulnerability, and sharp self-awareness, helped him sell out arenas across the globe, becoming the first comedian in history to sell out an NFL stadium for a stand-up special. His films like Jumanji, Central Intelligence, Ride Along, and Think Like a Man made him one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, and his specials Laugh at My Pain, Let Me Explain, and What Now broke box office records. Beyond comedy, he built a business empire, Heartbeat Studios, valued in the hundreds of millions, making him one of the most influential entertainment entrepreneurs of this generation. Kevin Hart didn't just rise to the top. He expanded what a comedian could be, turning himself into a global brand. 2. Dave Chappelle.
First Amendment is first for a reason. The Second Amendment is just in case the first one doesn't work out.
Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest comedic minds of all time, a truth teller whose jokes reveal uncomfortable realities with precision and brilliance. Dave Chappelle is the philosopher of comedy, an artist who blends sharp wit, cultural critique, and uncomfortable truth with an unmatched level of mastery. His groundbreaking series, Chappelle's Show, introduced characters and sketches that became cultural landmarks, shifting the landscape of sketch comedy forever. At the height of his fame, he famously walked away from a $50 million contract, cementing his legacy as a man who valued integrity over industry pressure. When he returned years later, his Netflix specials broke viewership records, earned multiple Emmys and Grammys, and reignited national conversations about social issues, identity, and truth in comedy. Chappelle's achievements were further recognized with the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, the highest honor in comedy. Dave Chappelle doesn't just make people laugh, he challenges them to think. 1. Eddie Murphy.
Ice Cream Man always drove extra block though. And I know he's seen us and shit. But I think he just be in the car with his friends saying, watch me make how fast I make these motherfuckers run.
Eddie Murphy is the gold standard, the superstar every comedian on this list would trade an arm and a leg to become. He skyrocketed to fame as a teenager and single-handedly saved Saturday Night Live during one of its lowest eras. His stand-up specials Delirious and Raw broke records and remain some of the most iconic performances in comedy history. On the big screen, Eddie became a cultural juggernaut with classics like Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop, The Nutty Professor, Trading Places, and 48 Hours. A run so dominant, he became the first actor in history to have 7 consecutive #1 films. He continued his legacy with family-friendly hits and iconic voice acting as Donkey in Shrek. With Golden Globes, an Emmy, and the Cecil B. DeMille Award under his belt, Eddie Murphy is the blueprint for comedic stardom. No one has impacted comedy, film, and global culture quite like him. Honorable mentions: Cultural Chronicles. The Wayans Family.
Everybody in my family is funny.
I see you.
We've been studying comedy since we was 5 and 6 years old.
The Wayans Family is one of the most influential comedic dynasties in entertainment history. From In Living Color, a groundbreaking sketch show that launched the careers of Jim Carrey, Jennifer Lopez, Jamie Foxx, and more, to films like Scary Movie, White Chicks, and Don't Be a Menace, their impact is woven into the fabric of American comedy. Keenen Ivory Wayans reshaped sketch television. Damon Wayans became a stand-up legend. Marlon and Shawn Wayans brought slapstick and surreal humor to a new generation. The Wayans didn't just make hits. They created a blueprint for black sketch comedy, family legacies, and cultural satire. Chris Tucker.
Ain't the preacher come here sometimes? We always going to him.
Chris Tucker exploded onto the scene with a comedic voice so distinct and high energy that he instantly became unforgettable. His role as Smokey in Friday remains one of the most iconic comedic performances ever. With the Rush Hour franchise, he became one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood, turning his rapid-fire delivery and electric charisma into global stardom. Tucker's influence lies in his ability to make an entire room lean in, loud when he needs to be, quiet when it makes the joke hit harder, and always effortlessly funny. Cat Williams.
We all know niggas as hard as 7 o'clock in the motherfucking morning. You like, nigga, wait a minute, nigga. You angry at breakfast, nigga?
Cat Williams is a master of observational comedy with a swagger and sharpness that make his performances feel like controlled chaos. His special, The Pimp Chronicles Part 1, is legendary, delivering cultural critique and pure comedy gold with every step and gesture. Cat blends streetwise storytelling, physical comedy, and razor-sharp commentary into a style that's entirely his own. Despite controversies and setbacks, he remains one of the funniest, most naturally gifted comedians of his generation, an undeniable influence on stand-up culture. Steve Harvey.
You tripping on how they asking me to host the show. How y'all had Gerald Levert out here singing a gospel song.
Steve Harvey is a comedic powerhouse whose career spans stand-up, sitcoms, hosting, and motivational speaking. As one of the original kings of comedy, he delivered classic routines rooted in church culture, family dynamics, and everyday black life. His sitcom, The Steve Harvey Show, became a 90s staple, and his transition into hosting shows like Family Feud, Showtime at the Apollo, and Steve proved his versatility. Harvey's influence comes from his ability to turn charisma into longevity, becoming one of the most trusted and recognizable faces in entertainment. Martin Lawrence.
Mookie from the New Jersey, you got that look on your face, Mookie, like, don't funk with me, man.
Martin Lawrence is a comedy icon whose fingerprints are everywhere, from stand-up to sitcoms to blockbuster films. His show Martin is one of the greatest black sitcoms ever made, filled with unforgettable characters like Jerome, Shanae, and Roscoe. As a stand-up, his specials You So Crazy and Runteldat showcase his raw talent and relentless energy. In film, the Bad Boys franchise made him a global action comedy star. Martin's impact is simple. He made characters, catchphrases, and comedic energy that defined an entire era. Cedric the Entertainer.
Get you one of them hoverboards, you can go to the club in one of them motherfuckers.
Cedric the Entertainer is the smooth operator of comedy, charismatic, confident, and always funny without trying. As one of the original kings of comedy, he brought storytelling and crowd work to an elite level. Cedric's charm translated into a successful career in television and film, from The Neighborhood to Barbershop to hosting roles that show just how naturally entertaining he is. His influence is rooted in his ability to be funny in every format: stand-up, sitcoms, movies, or just sitting on a couch telling stories. Chris Rock.
Fellas, when you wake up in the morning, you should look yourself in the mirror and say, fuck you.
Chris Rock is one of the greatest stand-up minds of all time, a sharp, cutting voice whose humor exposes truth with every punchline. His specials Bring the Pain and Bigger and Blacker are stand-up essentials, shaping how comedians tackle race, politics, relationships, and culture. Rock's time on SNL helped define a new era, and his work in film, television, and writing shows his brilliance across mediums. Few comedians have mixed intelligence and humor as effortlessly as Chris Rock, making him one of the most influential comedic voices ever. Key and Peele.
$8 on lot A.
Going once, twice, 3 times hold.
How does that
nope,
happen?
not true. What
How
you
does
just
it
said,
happen?
that's gobbledygook. Okay, that can't be true, because what can this dude do? Look at him. What could he pick? A cotton plant is like this tall.
Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele created a modern classic with Key and Peele, pushing sketch comedy into a cinematic, narrative-driven style that felt fresh, innovative, and deeply cultural. Their sketches, from The Substitute Teacher to The Valet Boys, became viral landmarks and helped define the internet comedy era. Their willingness to blend social commentary, absurdity, and sharp writing created a new generation of comedic storytelling. Peele's transition into Oscar-winning filmmaking further proved that what they created wasn't just comedy, it was a cultural shift.